Instagram, but we're live on LinkedIn, and we're live on, I believe, Facebook, and now we're going to be live on Instagram. Uh, this is a Patient Ace special. We have a bonus podcast. We're really, I think we're making waves, Ronick. Like it's slow but steady. We've been controlling our growth basically, unlike these VC-backed companies that can just hire at will. We have to bootstrap it and really make sites happy and make sites advocates in order for us to grow. And we've interviewed David LaHaye, who's Lee Eifler's one of his BFFs, college buddies, and now we have a Lee Eifler, maybe PatientACE #1 fan, maybe even a bigger fan than David. It's hard to do, but Lee might just be that person. Site owner, Makoa Health in Phoenix, Arizona. He'll be in my vlog on Friday. I have a bonus trip to Phoenix. And Lee, welcome, man. I'm kind of upset your train is not visible in the live stream, but in the vlog, we have to get it.
We'll get it. Yeah, we're doing. I'm have another videographer. We're gonna do like a video site tour, and then I'll have some. We'll get all of our artwork too. I'll promote some of the artists that we sell for.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna get all that on video, and then we have, of course, the genius behind PatientACE, the brainchild, the father of PatientACE, Ronick Ganatra, and he's been a buddy of mine for maybe a decade, maybe a little less.
Not quite. Maybe about 5 years, probably.
5 years, half a decade. Right? Yeah. Feels longer because we're in startup mode.
I think Ronick, we were in the old mastermind group like 5 years ago.
Yeah, and Ronick came out to LA. We went out to Hollywood Presbyterian. Before that, he was on the pod talking about
Ronick, if I remember right, I think you were living in Florida at the time.
I was, yeah.
It just flashed back. Yeah, I think that was.
I don't even remember exactly what that was.
Yeah, the Guru Mastermind. That was. Whew.
That's right. Yeah, you had the YouTube channel, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like $5-10 a month.
Premium YouTube channel.
Yeah, I stopped doing that, but it was fun. It was something for COVID.
Nice experiment.
COVID kind of gave us all a different, like a mind virus, and we're all just at home, figuring stuff out. But now, 2025, the industry is booming. We got site owners putting trains in their offices, like going from room to room. It's a good times, Ronick's building PatientACE. Like, honestly, it's amazing. I know you guys are tired of hearing from me how amazing it is. So we have other sites using it, and soon to be more and more and more and more. And so, Ronick, Lee, take it away. I'm here to give color commentary or shoot the shit, but the industry is busy and slow at the same time. It's kind of weird.
It is. It's feast or famine, it seems. Some sites either have a ton or they have nothing.
Yeah, or in between, which is the worst. That's been us like half of the year has been like in between. Like, yeah, you have a lot, but they're not started yet. But okay, now one start. Okay, but now it ended. Like Ronick and Alexa's been helping us out a lot, and
everything great's happening tomorrow.
Yeah, everything
always tomorrow.
Well, I think with the Fed cutting rates tomorrow, literally, I think we're gonna have the consistency we hoped for the first half of this year. It's just starting in Q3.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. It's always been unpredictable, right? There's always things starting and stopping, but not much you can have control over. But I guess that's
your patient leads,
right? Yeah,
you can control your patient leads.
Yes.
You see what I did there? That's a good one.
Nice one. You got to stop shilling, man.
I know. Brad's like, man, you're shilling PatientACE too much. Brad, it's awesome. That's why, man. And he actually uses it.
Yeah,
I told Brad to use it. I said,
thank
hey,
you, man.
You've got to talk to Ronick because this is the deal, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, we're working with them, and we're actually doing some deep integration into Creo for their site where, not only are we sending, the lead information to Creo, we're also sending some of the pre-screen question and answers so that they can be qualified for some of the different studies that they have. So I'm
still drastically underutilizing PatientACE.
That's
I just started using some of the tools.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
the
we
case
all
for
are.
most. Yeah, that's the case for most sites, and that's okay. It's it can be overwhelming. There's a lot there, and we're always adding new things. So, hopefully, over time, we'll figure out a way to kind of roll these things out in a way that's easy to digest for sites.
Well, Ronik and Lee, this is a good segue into like the macro point of like this macro thesis of what's happening in our industry is automations are going crazy. And there's some sites that get it and embrace it, and some that don't, refuse to. And there's everyone else in between just kind of trying to figure out, try to see what's happening. But PatientACE is at the forefront of this. I mean, we've had these automations, patients showing up now automatically without you doing anything, without any human involvement until pre-screening, or if you do it right, until actual screening. So the entire industry is shifting towards this, but we're like maybe one of the first ones to do it from the patient recruitment side.
Yeah, it's nice. Like the getting them to show up for pre-screens is nice for certain studies, and it's nice to build a database. It's also because we have a deliverable. We have FibroScans that we can offer for free. So there's always something in it for the patient if they just want to get their liver checked. And we're largely focused on cardiometabolic studies right now. So anybody that's concerned about, fatty liver probably has some comorbidities like diabetes or heart failure. So it fits into our realm really well. Even if it's not, aside from the automated scheduling, the ability to like e-sign medical record request forms so we can request their records.
Yeah, you love that one.
I do love it. We sat through, developed a process in like a day. I think you have, is it Alexis, who's your patient success agent? She is fantastic.
Former coordinator. This is by design that she is a former coordinator. That is the ideal person we wanted. It couldn't have been better person than Alexis.
No, she does a great job. That's I'd steal her away in a heartbeat if I could.
Well, please don't. Please don't. I mean, it was hard to get her.
We treat her well.
Yes.
Yeah, she does a good job. She keeps reaching out to me. She's like, hey, it's her monthly call, and I'm like, oh, that's fine.
Hold on, you guys. Perfect segue. A lead replied from PatientACE. Like as we're talking, leads replying. And so PatientACE always working. We're here on live stream. PatientACE working.
Yeah.
I probably have leads replying right now too.
Before we get too deep into the woods, for our audience that doesn't know you, can you do a quick introduction, Lee, of your site, how long you've been running it, and just a quick 1 minute.
I can't do anything 1 minute, but I'll do my best.
At least you're honest, right?
So, yeah, I own Macoa Health in Phoenix, Arizona. I also own Goodyear Oasis with Dr. Calment in Goodyear, Arizona, and Artisan NM, which is in Albuquerque, New Mexico. All three of our sites are PatientACE customers. We're rolling into a site network. Now we do have access to some Native American community EMRs. We're heavily integrated within the Arizona Latin American Medical Association. But right now we're actually starting a 501c3. It's been an internal project called Project Medicine Wheel. We had the goal of expanding the lifespan of a specific Native American community in our area by 5 years in 5 years. There's a place called River People Health Center that we're working with, and they have a 5 and 5 goal. We didn't know that we had the same task, but we've been, sponsoring health initiatives for young to old generation over there, and then trying to get the community to participate in research. And with some success, we've seen their willingness to participate, which is good. It's really unique because now they're expanding us. I just got approval from another sponsor to start bringing patients down from Tuba City or Navajo Nation, which is really good because they just don't have the access that they have in the local communities. They don't have the same access up here, or up there. But we're going to be transporting patients down. When I'm not recruiting from those EMRs, 100% of our patients come from PatientACE. It's fantastic. I guess indication-wise, we do everything except oncology and ophthalmology. I have neurologists, orthopedic surgeons, internal medicine doctors, pain anesthesiologists, or, radiologists. So we kind of operate at McCoa slightly like an SMO because we will go to surgery centers for surgical studies, but most stuff is done at our standalone site. It's the same with Goodyear Oasis and with Artisan, NM, New Mexico.
So three locations, 3 different sites, and I forgot how long have you been with PatientACE?
Since you started. I think
Probably
I may have been the first customer.
Yeah, one of the first, I would say. Yeah, definitely one of the first, and it's definitely been a couple years. So have you used any other vendors, or don't name names, but
I won't.
just
Not
in
since I've used
general.
PatientACE. I used a ton of vendors before PatientACE.
So tell me. I guess
then,
I'm always curious to know, what is the difference? Like, what makes it so great? Like, obviously I'm going to think it's great, but like as a site perspective, why is it better, or is it better? I don't know.
well, it's definitely better. Basically, it's results based. It delivers results. That's what it all comes down to. I've also changed my focus a little bit, where before I was heavily, with other companies, all I did was I tried recruiting for specific trials. I don't recruit for specific trials anymore. I don't recruit for a specific indication. What we do is rebuild relationships within the community through PatientACE and a variety of, we don't, you run our ads. None of them are trial specific. We're running for cardiometabolic problems, because if you have, people that have COPD, have heart failure, have diabetes, have, it's all the comorbidities. So you can, as long as you're just out trying to gather the sick population that you can help, you're going to be able to sort them into a trial, one trial or the other.
Can you talk
I look for complementing trials.
I was going to ask you, and then Ron, Frankie Lipscomb, my brother is a coach here now, men's basketball, so he's just transferred. But shout out to Lipscomb, yes. Lee, when you do the generic ads, right? Because I like that. This is one of the things I've always advocated for. Although, interestingly enough, with PatientACE, we are kind of moving more away from that, unless we have multiple studies for a certain indication, which then we go generic. But PatientACE makes it so easy to not have to go generic. But how do you get reimbursed for when you go generic? Because
I don't.
You don't get reimbursed, so you just eat the bill yourself. Okay.
I'm starting to. I get advertising budgets, but the thing is, I'm using generic ads, so I've tried it a couple times. But even if it's not generic, it costs me more time. I have more time and labor trying to collect on it and put everything together so they can approve it than I do. It's like, okay, I'm going to do $5,000 in work to get back $3,000 in ad spend. I'll just save the $2,000 and not deal with their finance team that's going to run me in circles for 3 months. I'll have $1,000 a month into labor trying to collect on the thing. It's just and that's by design on their part. I'm sure of it.
That's interesting, because I think as sites, most people don't think about the labor cost of some of these activities, and I think it's a very astute observation to say, look, yeah, I might get a couple grand back here and there, but the back and forth is not worth it. I could probably enroll 2 more patients or 3 more patients, in that time. So and that kind of, I guess that, that speaks to a couple of things. Number one, what I just mentioned. Number two, you're seeing enough of an ROI out of pocket to justify doing it and spending the money because of, I'm assuming because there's a return there.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm actually opening up PatientACE right now.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, if you go to doctors, you'll ask physicians, how many patients do you have in your database? Big
Mm-hmm.
ones might have 20 or 30,000, but they'll be like 3,000. Maybe a good sized doctor has 6,000. As of today, right now, just from PatientACE, I have 5,049 patients. So if you think about that, I mean, we're working together a couple of years, but I have 5,000. This is a real number. I'm looking at it right now.
So you could probably see the date stamp of that first lead. When was that first lead in? And then we can contextualize it.
Okay. The date stamp. Now there's about 9 missing, but so because we did testing before, this was a new
that's
one
right.
that was
Yeah,
developed.
that's right. We made
This
a couple
isn't
of
even
changes.
all of them. So when we revamped everything last June, but
Okay.
this is a good. So from June 14th of last year until now, I've developed 5,049 leads.
So a little over a year.
Yep, and I have them all broke up by indication, and a little over a year. That's 5,000. That's a bigger database, and it's all broken down by indications. We put them into different categories, but that's a solid database.
And these are opt-in leads that raise their hand that are interested in the research, right? These aren't just like generic.
Yeah. So I mean, we talk to all of these patients, and we disqualify some. Like obviously, the patients that we disqualify permanent, there's a lot of them that are disqualified because they may have cancer.
Right.
If you have cancer, you're only going to be on an oncology trial. There's no other indication that's going to allow somebody who has cancer enroll. Transplants, but a lot of these, if they don't qualify for one study, they're going to qualify for another. And I mean, this spans all cardiometabolic, the COPD, asthma, heart failure, chronic kidney disease, NASH, MASH, cirrhosis even.
Sure.
But that's outside of the databases that I have access to as well. So this is just my internal database. Now, and this isn't all of it. These are just the last year of leads from PatientACE. But that's
now you also do have multiple campaigns, and you spend a lot of money. I think in the past year you were our biggest spender in terms of ad spend. So just to kind of put context around it, you have been putting the money into it.
I changed. It was about a year ago when we revamped everything that I really changed my focus from, instead of recruiting for a specific trial, just saying, look, I'm recruiting for my site. Especially because I'm finding those uninsured patients that want healthcare. They like coming in for a free FibroScan. They like having the option, and while they might not qualify for this diabetes study, they may qualify for the next. And they don't mind being contacted. We also stay in communication with them. That's one of the things, PatientACE can really add automation in there, which we're looking at going back to. First of all, we can email every time we get a new study. We can blast everyone.
Right.
But really going back, I think we can start using AI to engage people on like a quarterly basis to keep them involved, update their medical records. I think we can really get it to the point where we're just sending out HIPAA forms and keeping their records on file once we get them requested. And I don't know how to automate it right up into our database yet, but we'll figure that out.
Yeah, actually, I think that's
coming.
probably one of the biggest untapped opportunities for you, is because you've built up this database. I mean, you've already paid for the lead, so instead of you want to keep the spigot on and keep on building new leads, but you could probably reduce your ad spend significantly and just go after some of those older, quote unquote older leads. And every time you get a new study in an indication, you just do a filter, do a search for whatever indication it is, and send something out, and that alone would probably get you a lot of interest.
Yeah, I think so. We were talking about, using kind of in some AI automation to kind of filter through old leads. Right now, I mean, I'm basically, most of my studies, I'm just waiting. We're on enrollment hold because we've already hit our max. I'm
Gotcha.
waiting to be,
good problem to have.
Yeah, well, I have one study where they stop us at 5. I also start really going through, as soon as we start startup activities, I start looking for subjects. So I have a waiting list when we're turned on.
Okay.
I've studied, we were activated 2 weeks ago. We randomized, we screened 7 patients. We screened 7 patients in the first week. In the second week, 5 of those randomized.
Wow.
1 is still in screening. We can't randomize them yet, and 1 screen failed because he's going to have a procedure that's exclusionary. So we had to
what indication?
But still, heart failure. I'll leave it vague, and it's a heart failure study. I don't want to get into specifics, but with heart failure, that screen fail, our pre-screening process has gotten really good. We've really reduced a lot of our COPD screen fails, but that's still, they're like, well, 1 in 3 will qualify, no, it's more like 1 in 10. They rope you into, like, COPD is an indication. They really rope you into how, oh, no, there's not gonna be that many screen fails. And even with us doing pre-screening, we do spirometry.
Yeah.
We short form and do spirometry ahead of time, and we're like, no, it's not bad. Come back on a worse day, it's not going to get through. And then what'll happen is, either they'll get out of time for their exacerbation, or they'll have another exacerbation, or we'll bring them in. And then when we bring them in, like, their liver labs are bad or something. We get them to spirometry.
It's like it's a moving target, right?
Like, yeah.
So COPD. Okay, so for context, that can be a hard one with the screen failure rate. I guess over the past year, ballpark, how many have you enrolled in COPD studies?
Oh, probably. I mean, I haven't had COPD studies going full time, but I don't know, probably 8. Probably 8 in the last year, maybe 10. I think we're going to do 10 this quarter, though. That's our goal, is at least 10 this quarter.
What's been your most? You've done a lot of asthma. What's been your most successful indication with PatientACE?
Cardiometabolic stuff, but it's just because of the commonality of it.
Sure, like obesity.
Obviously, yeah, obesity, diabetes, heart failure. And we had a RSV vaccine study that ended up getting canceled, but that was 65 plus. And because I have access to the county database, like, we were lining up patients, checking their records, and this was, a month before it.
So that was not PatientACE,
and then it got canceled.
That was
through PatientACE.
Oh, it was, okay.
Yeah, it was just, we were lining up before the study even started, and then it got canceled.
Gotcha.
I probably spent a lot of money before, but that's why, every once in a while studies are going to cancel. But it's worth it when you have the reputation that you come out of the gate swinging every time. If we're getting, you create value for pharma when you help them get to LPI faster. It costs a lot, and if they're not enrolling,
for sure.
If they're not enrolling, it's increasing their costs.
Time's money.
And yeah, I had some bad operations staff in here. So I've completely revamped that with the help of Clin Mastery. Jen Pages has came on as our COO. Shout out to Jen Pages at Clin Mastery and Harmony Clinical Trials. And Felix is now our site director. He's moved out here.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Is really helping out.
Jen's actually on the, you guys can't see the comments, but on Instagram, didn't want to interrupt, but she's commenting, all sites should be doing generic advertising. It's like building your business. And then another person, shout out to Danish Siddiqui, who put, you would be surprised how many sites don't do that. So yeah, shout out to the people watching on Instagram, but yeah, they would agree with you guys. And
yeah, and I hate the term generic. Maybe general is a better word.
Yeah,
general is better. Yeah,
I like general. Yeah, I like that.
I think I agree. I think most sites are not doing it.
How about broad?
Yeah, broad. Yeah, broad is a better word.
Reuse a broad advertising platform.
Actually, so most sites, they are they're doing, they might have multiple studies in one indication. And so we still build the campaigns, based on the protocols that they do have, to kind of help filter, for one or the other. And so I think one big differentiator for us, or for PatientACE, is that, um, you can have multiple studies in one campaign, or one indication, and you only pay for that. Counts as one campaign. That doesn't, we don't charge you. Oh, okay, you have 3 protocols in diabetes, so you have to, pay for 3 campaigns. No, we group that into one, and we do it by indication, so that you can kind of, reap the benefit of that. So I think that's also very helpful and beneficial.
You get added benefit out of PatientACE too if you have good recruiters. Here's what
Yeah.
I think the number one site, one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of sites make, in my opinion, is that you go into sites and they take the person with the least experience and they make them the recruiter. They take the least experienced, least knowledgeable, youngest person and put them on recruitment, which, first of all, it doesn't build faith in your patients, because you're talking to people that responded to a Facebook ad, and now they're like, and they're talking to some kid that doesn't know anything. It doesn't build confidence in them. It doesn't make research look good. Where if you put knowledgeable staff on, I think it should be the highest level people that are doing the recruiting. It's okay to have at least like maybe low level ones making the introduction calls, but we're scheduling phone calls with our doctors now. I got doctors full time. I'm making them pick up the phone and talk to patients. Hey, you want to talk to a doctor right now? Let's really get to the bottom of what's causing it. Do you have foot drop? With a stroke study rehab, how was it a TIA or was it actually a stroke? Before we even get their records, our doctors can pick that up, and a coordinator can't do that. They don't have they don't understand symptoms well enough. To really get to that. What's unique is too, if you have good recruiters, you're going to see a larger value from PatientACE. I'll give you an
100%.
example. This is one of my favorite things that happened. I had I came through as a COPD lead. A guy had submitted on Facebook. I picked up the phone and called him, and I was asking him about a COPD, if he had any inhalers. He didn't have any inhalers. I said, well, how long have you had COPD? And he's like, well, I just did a sleep study and they told me. And then I realized I was like, do you mean OSA? And he's like, oh yeah, it's sleep apnea, not COPD. And I said, well, do you have diabetes or anything? And he said, well, yeah, I do have diabetes, because if you have sleep apnea, you're probably overweight. Well, then I started talking through his labs, and he applied for a COPD study because he thought OSA was COPD. And then I ended up enrolling him on a chronic kidney disease study.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I had him pull up his labs on his phone through my chart, and then he went through his EGFR, and I was like, hey, what's your height and weight? Your EGFR is here. I actually have another study that's probably going to be beneficial, and it may help you with they're actually looking at it for sleep apnea. So
that's real patient centricity. You hear about patient centricity. I think you just defined what that is. It's like you're trying to find ways to help him, and obviously it helps the site too. It could be very easy to say, oh, you don't have COPD, thank you, good luck, and talk to you later. But having those conversations, I'm sure that's happened more than once.
Yeah, it has. Well, and you build trust with the patients, even if they don't. Then like even screen fails, you talk to them, well, hey, we'll keep you in the database, we'll get you involved in something, especially the underinsured or uninsured. They want to participate just to get their labs drawn, and the value that it creates to them. That's where it really creates value. We used to have a psychologist on staff too. One of the another important thing we do is we've developed a psychological profile for participation on our patients. So after a short form consent, reevaluate them, because they have to a clinical trial participant really there has to be some form of altruistic reasoning. It can't be completely self-serving, and because if it's not, you're not going to retain them. They have to understand that they're helping the future of people, and that's what's people that are generous like that, they're naturally generous people. They want to participate because they know they're doing something good. And that's the key patient. I don't even, if you want to not enroll in a study at my site, the first thing you need to do when I call you is ask me how much the study pays. How much do I get paid? I'll be like 0 because I don't have any studies for you. Sorry.
Really? Okay. Wow.
If they only want the money,
Sure.
they're not going to be compliant. They're just going to come in. They're going to call you every 5 minutes. My card hasn't been loaded. My card hasn't been loaded. Like, dude, you're still in the parking lot. You know.
So so if it seems like they're, obviously if there seems like they're really focused on the money, then it's, probably not a good fit. But what if that's just one of the questions they ask out of many?
It depends. You get a good feel
You can
for
kind
them.
of tease it out.
Right. That's why I didn't say if that's the first one they ask, because there's definitely those people when you call them, they're like, oh yeah, the clinical, how much does it pay?
Yeah.
If that's the first, okay, well, is it going to help you? Maybe you want to know about, like, you're just going to put no matter what it is in your body, if it pays enough. Like, we're not doing phase 1 here, we're not doing a phase 1 study. So Solarion's down the road. I'll give you their number. I don't think they're going to take you because you're 45, have cirrhosis, diabetes, heart failure, and had cancer 5 years ago. But go ahead, like, really.
What percentage would you say are in that category?
It's a low.
Okay.
It's low. I would say it's below 5%.
Oh wow. Okay.
And yeah, I would say it's below 5%. And I'll say of that let's call it 4%. Of that 4%, half of them seem to have some sort of drug or alcohol problem.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I used to think it was a lot higher, that number, because I worked only in psych. And I would say for the psych studies, it is like 50% or higher. But for the general medicine, specialty, non-psych stuff, I would say it's around 5 or less. Some are even embarrassed, like they don't want to take the money. You have to tell them, like, we have to give this to you.
That's what I tell them. They're like, no, I don't want it. That's not why I'm here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I got to give it to you. You can donate to charity, do whatever afterwards, but I have to give it to you.
The world of psychiatry is very different.
It is.
I would say.
And psychiatry too, about half, I don't want to say half, but there is an elevated amount of substance abuse. There's a lot of people that years self-medicating. So that's part of it. Substance abuse is just at it's much higher inside psych trials.
And they are also, from our studies at least on PatientACE, anecdotally, they're the ones that no-show by far the most psych indications.
It's a tough one, psych in general.
But
we still got a bunch, in our study, thanks to PatientACE. So you just got to know what you're doing.
It's not hard to find them. Yeah. Yep. You gotta weed through them and decide who's gonna. That's why we have the psychological profile. We want to know not just who's willing to participate. We want to know who's gonna be a good participant.
Jen made her way over to LinkedIn. Thank you. I do need.
So you mentioned recruiter. What kind of profile do you look for in a recruiter, and what is your sort of turnaround time? Do you have KPIs for following up with leads at your site?
Well, we've divided and conquered, kind of.
Okay.
So I still do a lot of the recruitment. It's really hard to find someone to replace me. Now I do have. It depends on the study. We've kind of broken it down by indication. I have some coordinators recruiting for their own studies. I have Che recruiting, at the reservations in the Native American communities. I also have him doing a lot of COPD. Now he doesn't have the years of experience that I have, but he knows how to transfer the call to our doctors. So we have doctors on staff full time. They're only seeing, a busy day, we'll see 6-7 patients. A doctor can handle 30, 40 a day, so if he's seeing 6 or 7 and doing the paperwork, he still has plenty of time, but he has to be here. And there's no point of him driving back and forth every 5 minutes, so he just stays here, but now we can put him on the phone. And we do a lot of, come on in and meet our doctor. We'll short form consent you, sit down, we'll get a full medical history. Because, we're just trying to get people in the door. Like, look, you're not reimbursed for this. You're not going to be paid. But if you want to come talk to a doctor for free, we're not going to do any procedures on you. Because we don't do anything outside of the protocol.
Unless, that would be a great PatientACE ad campaign for you, just to bring, if you're doing that, you could probably get a lot of people to come in.
The problem is because we don't treat patients here, we'll do diagnostics only.
Yep.
We can do the fibroscan, we can do spirometry, but we can't offer like a physical, because even a
Sure.
physical is treating a patient,
Gotcha.
and we can't really offer referrals, because our doctors take on liability for that.
Do you guys do labs, like just a basic CBC?
Sometimes it depends. So if it's like a MASH study, we may do some labs, but they'll be cheap labs. They'll be like $10 or $15. What I am really looking for, if anybody out there, any sponsors, if you have any like single day device or diagnostic studies for anything, I will tear them up. I will, just because we have that patient flow already.
Yeah.
And the thing is, even with a low stipend, it helps us bring people in, helps us get their medical history. And while we're there, we can do a collection. It doesn't matter. There was, I think with the cutting some NIH funding, it really hurt it. But there was that All of Us study that I was really, really interested in from Scripps. I believe U of A is doing it, or Arizona State. I'm not sure which, but I think it was Scripps Clinic that had it on, and they had the All of Us study. Really, really neat research. I really wanted to be involved in that, but it just didn't work out. But if there's any other sponsors out there that need any collection or device studies, if they're 1 day consent and off the study, would love to participate in that, because I don't have any right now.
Yeah, I think those a lot in winter. You'll get a lot of like COVID, RSV, those type of studies.
Yeah, we did I don't want to say who, but we did a COVID test study.
Yep.
And my site, they actually refilled up the entire COVID cohort.
Whoa.
With all of the positives. We had 100% of their.
How many was that? How many was that?
Oh, well, I think re-enrolled 212.
Wow.
212 patients, and I think 168 of them were COVID positive.
This was during COVID or recent?
This was during COVID. This was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It might have been more than that. I really think it was like 189 were COVID positive, and then they needed flu as well, and we didn't have any flu A or flu B, and they shut us down. They shut us down. They were like, "Look, we're pausing your site because you're not bringing any flu." Well, I'm also not bringing anybody who's not sick. They're obviously symptomatic. Like 189, I think it was like 189 out of 212 were COVID positive, But,
oh, wow.
And then they shut us down, and then all of a sudden we started seeing flu at our clinic. And I was like, "Hey, we're getting flu ones. Turn us back on." And they're like, "No." I'm like, "Okay."
Oh, wow.
But we had like 50 flu patients come through right after that. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
it's unique.
The timing thing.
Yeah, the timing in Arizona, like sometimes our flu seasons are a little different out here. I don't know why it is, but sometimes it'll pick up in like summer versus winter. And I think it's because the way, like with contagious or infectious diseases, the summertime's when everybody's inside in Arizona, and the wintertime, everybody's outside spread out doing stuff. So I think you just congregate inside more, so things spread, which is why we kind of see weird spikes. If you looked at COVID, we had these huge spikes in the summertime. And it would kind of trim out in the fall as people went out. And then it would pick up around the holidays again, because then people are gathering as well. But that's what I attribute it to.
So going back to the question, so when you're following up with PatientACE leads, do you have a target, or do you have an average, or do you notice a difference between when you do your follow-up and the response rate?
Obviously the faster you follow up, the higher the response rate. The one challenge I do have, but it's such a low percentage. It's almost non-existent. But people that change their phone numbers, like I've had the same phone number for like 20 years. People that change their phone numbers, though, what happens is they'll change their phone number, and their old phone number will still be attached to like their Facebook account or whatever it is. So when they, click on it and then it gathers the information, it's the wrong number. I wish if, when you ask it too, it's easy to tell the fake numbers. If somebody puts in 111, great. I know not to call them. But when they put in a fake number that looks real, it's frustrating. And then sometimes, there's I mean, it's not a perfect system. I have a real small amount of like patients that come from out of range.
Right.
Maybe they're at the airport and they get picked up,
Mm.
or I get Albuquerque a bit, which is now convenient. So I'm trying to get the same studies in Albuquerque because now I have a source for them. Actually, I think you guys know Maya Pudi
Yeah.
up in Las Vegas. She's probably been a bit of a, she's been a bit of a benefactor from PatientACE because I get COPD patients that
Oh,
are
you
in
just send it to
Vegas.
them.
That I call her and like I ask them, hey, I can't do it here because I don't think you're going to drive from
Mm.
Las Vegas down, but I know a site that has some COPD studies. I'll set you up with it. Oh yeah, that'd be great. So Maya's gotten, I don't know if any's randomized, but I've sent her, more than a few leads.
Mm.
Um,
So, are you calling your leads same day, or what's the trend there?
No, it just varies on schedule. I like to do it same day, especially, and you can't really do it same day because I run ads all weekend where there's a big influx. So
Right.
Mondays
Apart
are
from the weekends.
right.
So like just
Monday's the
I
busy
don't.
day. And,
Yeah.
I need to do a little better with tracking it because what I don't like is this is why I underutilize the system a little.
Sure.
I look at when you're burning through a whole list of people to call.
Mm.
When you're burning through a whole list, it's easier to have them in a list versus like tabs where you have to click up, find the number, call them because
Sure.
half of them don't answer. So then it's
Yeah.
like, then you leave the message and you have to like go out, click on another one to get to it. That's why I like everything in a list.
Sure.
I kind of have my own style there. What I wish I would do, what I need to do a little better is track. I track how many times recall them, but I track it by date. I need to track it by time because certain people, like I've called them 3 mornings,
Yeah.
but they haven't been there. Why don't I try an afternoon?
Yeah. So it's
And
that you bring
a
up a
mix
really
of
good
days
point.
and time, and I don't track that well enough. But I know PatientACE does it. Like you can put the notes in there,
Yeah.
but it's just where I underutilize it. But it's for time and efficiency for me.
Yeah, so I don't remember where I saw this recently, but somebody was having a conversation regarding follow up, and that obviously, okay, when is the best time to follow up? The best time to follow up is within 5 minutes or whatever, 1 minute, 1 to 5 minutes, let's say. What's the second best time to follow up?
What's the second best time to
What's the
follow up?
second best time to follow up?
I don't know.
Right
I
now.
can't tell you that.
The answer is right
Yeah,
now.
right now. Yeah.
No.
Oh,
Not right now.
okay. I guess
The second best time to follow up is the same time they actually opted in. So if they're,
Oh, I gotcha.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah. No, because
you
there's
know,
a timestamp on it. That's a really good point. I do look at that a bit. I'm a little confused on the time zone though, because I
yeah,
think it's
we'll
on.
fix that for you because yeah, that's an easy fix. But if your leads are coming in, let's say somebody's out to lunch, it's noon, and they're eating their lunch, scrolling through Facebook. They see their whatever that they see a lead, a study lead, and they enter their information. And maybe you see it an hour later. You call them, and they're back at work or whatever the case is, right? Or then you have your designated time. I'm going to do my follow ups at 9 o'clock, or I'm going to do my follow ups at 4 o'clock. But if they're free at 12 o'clock to be able to opt into a study, they're very likely to be available at the same time the next day.
Yeah.
Or even 2 days later, because that's
a no-brainer. And I look at that. I didn't even think about it until you brought that up. I do look at that too because I'll see people like, especially with like heart failure or COPD is a big one. Like COPD, like the COPD, they're up all night half the time because they cough and they wake themselves up and then they start looking for. So I'll see it like, okay, well, this person sent this in at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And then the amount of people that change their mind in 24 hours too. And when something I find that's funny is, there's certain people, well, I guess certain people are just angry people, but you talk to them and then they'll tell you like, they'll tell you something disqualifying, and I'll just say like, look, I'm sorry, you're not going to qualify for any of the studies I have right now, but I'll keep you on our list. Oh, well, if I'm not qualified, why? And then they get really mad. Oh, you can't help me. Whatever. I'm like, I'm trying to. I just can't do it today.
Yeah.
They're like, take me off your
tough.
list. Okay. I don't think you'll be a very good patient anyways. I don't want to put you in front of my coordinators. They work too hard to deal with your nonsense, sir.
It's hard to win. I think you were kind of testing out the chatbot for for the follow up, and I was kind of chuckling.
I was kind of testing out the chatbot for the follow up.
Yeah. So it's I was
kind of testing out the chatbot for the follow up.
Yeah,
I'm just saying the same thing like the chatbot was doing. That's what I'm kidding.
Exactly. So it's they you uncovered a glitch, but the one I was kind of chuckling because it said how many questions are you going to ask me, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty typical of maybe a response that you would get, but I think you're potentially saving them time from actually coming in and getting disqualified at the site. It's better to get disqualified sitting at home, answering questions for 5 minutes versus, okay, you're going to drive to the site and then they say, oh, well, you don't meet X, Y, or Z criteria.
That would be a good response. That would be a good response
we got to incorporate
to put in there so they understand. If you want to just come in, we're happy to schedule a phone call right now or an appointment. You can just come in. This is a little more cumbersome because it's to save your time in the long run if we explain that.
Yeah, because I'm looking at you get the same response, right? If they come in and they disqualify, like, well, I came all the way here and I spent my afternoon and
but then we can say, look, we tried to do this electronically, and we give an option. You can schedule a call.
Sure.
I need to work on integrating my doing an integrated calendar for myself.
That's right. We're not even doing the calendar function with you guys, but yeah, that will help.
Yeah, well, I need to do that because I want people so they can at least schedule a call. If you'd prefer, let's schedule a call, and then I'll need to block out certain times, and then they can pick times, and then I can stick to it.
We've had sites say, please turn it off because we're getting too many calls, and we're not equipped yet to handle it. So it's interesting.
No, I'm talking about they can schedule a call.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So they would schedule. They would get too many scheduled calls, and then sites, then they miss the calls, and then the leads get upset because they're like, well, we scheduled a call for 5:30 or whatever, and nobody called me, and then I have to go back to the site and say, well, look, you guys have leads that are opting in and then showing up to these calls that you've scheduled, and what's going on. And they would say, oh, well, we got busy, or we didn't have someone available, and it doesn't happen, too often, but we have had that happen with sites that say, look, let's turn off the call scheduling because we had to equip ourselves to handle it. So I think the chatbot could be one potential solution to that, where okay, if some follow-up by a chatbot is better than no follow-up at all.
Right. Yeah, what I look for is constant improvement, and there's people that bounce around suppliers.
Sure.
I think that's a bad business philosophy. I deal with eClinPro, who I like. I deal with PatientACE, who I like, and I like it because you're small, new companies, and you're not just building a better product, you're really designing a product exactly for my needs.
Yeah.
Because all the stuff we beta test, it's my feedback on other sites. Now, I think
that's a good point, because both of us are bootstrapped as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
Which is rare for the large scale tech vendors that are international. I mean, we've done studies in Australia also.
Well, and what I like is, if it's a really busy week and I need something, if it's a really busy week for PatientACE and I need something, it might be 7 days before it's implemented, but usually it's done in like 20 minutes. Same thing with eClinPro. I send in a request, it's done, and 9 times out of 10, if there's a problem with PatientACE, it's user error on my end. There's not actually a problem. I'm just not using it correctly. But Alexis has really helped out with that.
Yeah, we want to make sure everyone's taken care of, and they have somebody to reach out to. So it's frustrating as as a user to you want help, you want support, and then you get like a phone tree, or you get a an email box or a chat bot. But having somebody to actually reach out to and say, look, how do I do this, or help me through this. It's a big value add.
You know what I'll tell you as well, because there's such a volume that comes through with PatientACE, is that we do prioritize those that are like the A leads. They're
Yeah,
always getting called. They're almost always
sure.
getting called the same day. It's the, we kind of call them in order of quality.
Yeah, that's a good point. And for those of you, to clarify, A leads, B so we have an internal system that qualifies each lead as an A lead, B lead, C lead, etc. And A leads are the ones that are that are most likely to qualify for one of the studies you might have. B leads are question marks, and C leads are not likely to qualify. I think it's a small thing, but it also adds a lot of value, because now, okay, I have 20 minutes right now. I'm going to start with the A leads. Those are the ones that are most likely to qualify, and your most qualified leads. Some feedback that I'm sure, Dan, you've experienced this, is if you give a coordinator or a recruiter a list of 50 leads or 10 leads even, and the first few are just like duds, they're going to get discouraged, right? It's human nature. Whereas like if you're focusing on the ones that are most likely to qualify, that's going to be more encouraging, and it's a better return on your time investment and effort, to say, hey, okay, well, this thing is working, because now we're separating the wheat from the chaff, automatically for you, so you don't have to make 100 dials to find 2 or 3 good ones.
I still think it's important to make contact though with them.
100%.
What's important. That's when you trip on like the guy that had OSA that applied for
Right.
COPD and ended up having CKD. It was
Yeah.
OSA to COPD to OSA to CKD.
But you know what? It brings a good point. Like, because we use PatientACE too. We've been advertising broad as well. You do accumulate leads over time. I've had some of my staff go back when we start a new study and say, go back to that old study, from 2 years ago, and go through all those leads, whether they're in Creo or whether they're in PatientACE. And I imagine there will be tools at some point, maybe even we will make it, that does something with that data, because the hard part's getting the data. It's not what to do
So
with
we
it.
have that. We have that now.
Okay.
There's a little bit of it's somewhat manual, but it's fairly easy to go to your contacts and then filter it for either a condition or the answer to a question, and then you can pull it up and basically use that list to mass text, mass email,
because it's still valuable. I mean, you would think 2 years ago, maybe it's a small town of like Yuma, I don't know, but people still reply, thanks for reaching back out. I am interested.
Redo this something, and this is something I tell that we say amongst our staff. Retrain the patients. So I do with all, like right now, I just wanted to look up real PatientACE numbers. I have 1,691 COPD patients in my database, and we send out kind of quarterly emails to them. Have you had any exacerbations? Retrain the COPD patients.
That's a good point,
Dan, because you have COPD trials, you'll understand the value of this. Retrain them to make us your second call. We have them all store our number in there. Like if you have an exacerbation, you call 911, you go to the hospital, you go to the ER, you do what you have to do, and then you make us your second call. As soon as you get out, you call us. So we're getting them fresh out of the exacerbation. Like, great, get off the prednisone. We'll see you in 35 days.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, and they're just, it's funny. They're like, hey, we had one come in not too long ago that said, hi, that he was from an old lead from, a year ago or so. And he was like, I had just stored in my phone as Lee COPD. So he called me from the hospital. He's like, I'm in the hospital right now, you know, and I was like, and he said, you know, I said, well, are they going to give you prednisone? He's like, they're giving me all sorts of shit. I said, well, get out of the hospital and give me a call, you know, and we'll get you taken care of. So, no, that's been really helpful. And recycling, like with COPD, because COPD patients, I mean, it's a chronic condition. It doesn't improve.
Sure.
You know, it may be manageable. That's the best you can really do with it. But there's, you know, two types of COPD patients: those that are having an exacerbation and those that are going to have an exacerbation. It's going to happen. The frequency of it, I mean, with the rise of a lot of these monoclonal antibodies, you're seeing it less and less with asthma and COPD, but they're still way underprescribed, and they still help a lot of people.
Cool. So I think we're getting close to an hour, but if you know, what would a site need to be successful with PatientACE? And
huge bank account. I'm just kidding.
Come on.
I'm just kidding.
And then
sorry.
the second part of the question is, who is this not a good fit for?
Any sites in or around the Phoenix area, definitely not a good fit for. You know, it's probably not good for anybody in Albuquerque. Maybe oncology, if you do oncology, maybe, or ophthalmology, probably a good fit for those. Any other indication? No. Outside of that, just about every. Do you know who it's not a good fit for? Who I think it's not a good fit for is academic medical centers. Because I don't think they have any staff that'll utilize it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think it'll be, because it's one thing if you're using like, I don't want to say any another recruiting company's name, but if you're using another recruiting company and it's brought on by the sponsor and then the sponsor's hounding you, why aren't these leads updated? That's what'll get academic medical center coordinators to make the calls or to do it.
Yeah.
Half the time they'll just update the lead and not actually call, because everybody that's under 30 is scared to pick up a phone. Pick up a phone to call, you know, they're on a phone all day. You know, they'll text them like, well, I emailed them. Okay, call them. I'll email them again. And you're like, call them. Well, I texted them. Call them. So, but that's why I don't think they'll do it, because there's nobody breathing down their neck.
Yeah, we haven't had any. We've never worked with academic medical centers, so it would be interesting. You know, if that, you know, if we ever got a chance to work with one, how that would play out, because it's a different setup.
Do you know who else it's not a good fit for? People, there's a whole bunch of people in this industry that step over dollars to pick up nickels. I referred a physician to you out of Ohio, and I specifically said that. And I said, hey man, don't be stepping over dollars to pick up nickels here. It's not a good fit for people that want to do everything themselves. They're too scared. They're so cheap. They don't want to outsource anything. And all they do is they waste a whole bunch of time. The sites that think like, well, I'm already advertising on Facebook. Okay, well, how's it going for you? Are you having any success? Great. Then keep doing it. Don't, you know, but there's a whole host of sites that try to come in and then figure out what you're doing so they can do it. You know what? This is your kitchen, Ronick. I'm just going to let you cook. I'll do what I do, you do what you do, and it's just the opportunity cost of me trying to go around you to do it all. I don't need that. I want a vendor, you know. I don't want another job. So people that, if you want to add this internal, great, do it internal. Don't waste your time with PatientACE, and don't waste PatientACE's time. I'd say that. But if that's who you are, you're short-sighted, and maybe you'll be successful, maybe not. But I know for me, it's not worth my time to do it. I've got too much other stuff going on. I'm getting trials and getting patients. So
one last, give me one last quote that I can, that we can put up on the website, or that we can put up on LinkedIn, like a video clip, you know, last thoughts about PatientACE.
I would say PatientACE works great in 49 out of 50 states. Arizona, not good at all.
Come on. I got
I can tell you it
No,
works in Yuma, which is
Yeah.
Arizona.
Well, Phoenix area. It's just the Phoenix metro area. It's like a black hole.
do you know what's your approximate ROI on PatientACE?
Wow.
I'm not going to tell you that. You'll want to charge me more.
No, I won't charge you more.
No,
We
I don't know.
promise,
I haven't calculated it. You know, the problem is,
Or have you measured your revenue impact?
yeah, I'm not going bankrupt anymore. Now we're surviving.
That's the quote. That's the quote.
Yeah, I would have been out of business without PatientACE. That's the
Wow.
the quote.
That's
how
a
about
quote
that?
right there.
That should be on the website.
No, you know what happened and here's the thing. When I was there was a study that I passed on. There was a diabetes study some time ago that I passed on, and it was because they had to be metformin naive, and I was like not taking metformin, but metformin naive, and I was like, our clinics.
Line, right?
I was looking through our I mean, you know, most sites or most doctors' offices will have like a bowl of mints out front. We just have a bowl of metformin. Like people take a couple on their way out. I mean, the people, you've gained 20 pounds this year. We're putting you on metformin. It's just like the clinics I work with, they like toss metformin out like it's Tylenol. And so I didn't think I could recruit for it. If I would have had PatientACE, I wouldn't have hesitated because I know I could have found that underinsured, newly diagnosed diabetic patient that's never taken metformin. It wouldn't have been a problem. So I wouldn't have passed on that study. And had I had PatientACE, you know, or knew how well PatientACE actually worked, I would have taken it.
And is it safe to say that you've made probably six figures off of those leads?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Now, it also, I think it's even safer to say that I can't measure the ROI yet because I think the biggest return on is yet to come. The database is built and functional.
Well, so far.
Right. Well, right. But I mean, these leads haven't, I haven't gone back through them. I mean, I haven't started really recycling them yet.
Yeah.
Everything's this is just lifetime results. When you go back to the data I have, you know, I'm talking by the end of next year, I'm gonna have 10, 15,000 patients separated, categorized. You know, that's a
rivaling
huge,
some small practices there.
That's a huge volume of data. Well, yeah, I mean, I have 30,000 in our practice EMR as well. But this is the PatientACE leads are almost better than my EMR leads because everybody wants to participate in research. They come with a willingness, you know. They come with a willingness already. Where out of the, you know, even though they're at our practice, they're like, I don't know, you know. Let me talk to this guy. I'm not sure, you know. And it's like, fine, you know. Or they're too busy, you know. They're like, I don't have time for that.
True.
So.
True. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, Lee, thank you so much for joining us and for the wonderful you know, testimonial. We appreciate it, and yeah, for everyone else, we'd love to share PatientACE with your site out there, patientace.com/demo. You can set up a time, and if anyone has any questions, we'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you both, Lee and Ronick, and PatientACE.com, and both are going to be at Save Our Sites in San Diego on March 5th through 7th. Early bird tickets only until the end of September, so get it now. Don't want to miss out on both. Makoa Health being there. Got some interesting stuff happening with both PatientACE and Makoa Health there, so get your early bird tickets. If you don't hear from us at PatientACE until the end of September, do it now. You've been warned. You guys both coming, right?
Of course.
Okay.
I think I already bought my plane ticket. Maybe. I don't remember.
Awesome, man.
I'm driving.
There you go.
It's in San Diego, right?
It's an awesome conference. I highly recommend it.
Get your tickets now.
It is a good conference.
Thank you, guys. And PatientACE.com/demo. I'm telling you guys, It's amazing. I've been using it.
We actually had somebody sign up during the podcast just now.
There we go.
Not for a demo. They signed up as a customer.
Maybe Alex Dubin. I don't know. We'll see.
No,
We'll see.
no, it was we had spoken to them earlier.
We got to do more of these, Ronick. Me, you know, a client, Alexis.
For sure.
I mean, just keep pumping these things out, man, because we need people. We're bootstrapping, so we have no other weapons but the social medias.
100%.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm actually, you know, to add on to it, something I just realized. I actually add some patients to PatientACE that I know from elsewhere because I like the tools that are in it. Like
There
as
you
far
go.
as
Yeah.
getting
PatientACE is a
the
full
way it automates certain things.
management system.
I put people in
contact
there
management
to,
system.
so it manages it. Yeah,
It's
even
one
if
of
a
the
lead comes from
underutilized
elsewhere.
aspects of it. You know, it's not just about the leads that PatientACE generates through the ads. It's, you know, it's a repository and a recruitment management system, really, where you can have leads from anywhere. You can import them and you can manage your entire recruitment flow within PatientACE. So that's an add benefit.
Well, thank you so much. I
All
appreciate
right.
all you do.
We
Both
really
of you.
appreciate it.
Thank
Go
you.
check out patientace.com/demo and saveoursites.com. Follow Lee. Follow Ronick. Catch y'all later.
Anybody that has a device study, send it to me.
That too. Bye-bye.